and welcome to the program Improve Seats on your Agri-Television in the capital city of Nigeria, Abuja. I am Hilda Homsem Fuantuam. Our focus on today's episode of the program is the persistent challenges facing agricultural sector, where we talked about the impact of climate change that cause frequent droughts, biological constraints, for instance, the fall armyworm, the use and misuse of expensive and harmful pesticides. Farmers in Africa need to gear towards the use of best technology, agricultural practices, value addition and access to market by emerging powerhouse in agricultural technology, deployment by empowering farmers across Africa and presenting a wide choice of agricultural innovation. Agricultural innovation, contributing to food and nutrient security. These and more is highlighted by Dr. Canisius Kanagiri, the Executive Director, African Agricultural Technology Foundation, AATF, and the Minister for State, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Sabi Aliyu Abdullahi.
Here, those are the products that we have been able to develop. Allow me to give you some case studies. On cowpea, here is what we have. The big, the big butterfly, which produces a caterpillar, and the caterpillar consumes the stem and reduce the product that we can have from cowpea. So the stem borer is addressed, can very much devastate a field. Up to 80% losses can be registered. And the technology that we have brought here is to provide the plant with the capacity to resist the pests and be able to produce at least almost to the maximum depending on other factors. And that will reduce very much the sprays of insecticide from 5 to 10 to only 2. And cowpea producers have been very happy of that. The production have doubled or even went up to 4 times and even higher in our experimental activities. Maize is another crop which is very important for food security in Africa. 300 million of people are fed of product of maize. But there also we have these insects which can very much devastate the maize plantation. We have also drought, which sometimes can bring all the expectation of the farmer to zero. And our effort has been first to produce an insect-resistant variety, but also compared to the same, the capacity to resist, to tolerate drought up to a certain level. And this has allowed us to contribute to reducing the loss, which was evaluated to be in terms of up to $6 billion per year, and increase the yield or at the farmer's level. So these are the experimental field where we could have 110, 125% of increase, and that is something that is highly appreciated by our farmers. We also work on rice value chain, and the initiative is to produce varieties, hybrids, which can be more productive than the varieties that we have in the farmers in general. And these hybrids can bring up to 10, 12 tons per hectare, as opposed to 2 tons or maximum 4 that we have in many countries from the farms. Those are some of the initiatives which can bring the production to increase up to more than 30%, which is appreciated, but then in different conditions. And we have a number of varieties which can be available to the farmers in very many countries. And this is through conventional technologies that we have been able to work on this. Excellencies, we have created some subsidiaries so as we can be able to produce and multiply that technology product so that they can be available to the farmers. One of them is Kolibesic Seed Company, which is established in Kenya and serves the east and southern region. It produces maize seeds, foundation seed, which is then given to the seed producers who produce the certified seed. And we have EcoBasic, EcoBasic is based here in Kaduna, and it produces also foundation seed for Nigeria currently, but it has the mandate to cover the West African region. We are working in strengthening seed production and seed system by building the capacity of our seed producers so that we can be able to satisfy the demand by our different farmers. In the southern part of Nigeria, we are working on cassava. And we have brought mechanization, but with mechanization, we work on the whole value chain through production to harvesting and to agro-processing so that we can be able to show more value addition to cassava producers and reduce the post-harvest, which is normally very high and hampers the effort of the farmers. So the company we have in southern Nigeria is called AgriDrive, and it is a for-profit initiative which works as the private sector do. We are also using drones to facilitate some activities, measuring the farms, but also surveillance, where we can detect pests, we can detect soil lacking some nutrients, and also have an estimate of the yield. This is a way of easing the work of the farmer, but also introducing precision agriculture as we go on, the way it is practiced in other countries. On enabling environment, with those policies and regulations, we have an initiative called OFAB, Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, which does a lot of advocacy so that we can have the understanding of what the science, technology, and innovation can bring to agriculture sector in Africa. And we are targeting different levels of stakeholders, going from the farmers up to the top policymakers, even politicians, so that together we can work to change the narrative that Africa cannot feed itself. With that effort, we have been able to move the needle from the situation where we were in 2006, with most of the countries in red or yellow, with only 3 countries with policies which were conducive to adoption of science, technology, and innovation, and biotechnology in particular, to where we are today, 2023, with 11 countries already with policies which are conducive and others waiting and following to see what those who adopted are reaping as benefit from the change. So we hope that soon we'll be having a green Africa where science can lead the agricultural practices. In conclusion, Your Excellency, we have many products in the pipeline, but we need a conducive environment. We need a political will to have these products from the shelves to the field and produce the benefit that our farmers need. We need a political will in terms of policies, in terms of support, and in translation of the commitment into action as stipulated in CAADP, in Malabo Declaration, so that we can be able to empower the farmers and produce the benefit that we need. ATF will continue to work through governments, through private sector, at continental and other levels, so that we can be able to contribute in a significant way to improving the lives of Africans, to feeding Africa, to improving the nutrition of our children, but not only the children, all of us actually. Your Excellency, it is in order to exchange notes, to strengthen this advocacy role, to learn from one another, to encourage one another that we have established a platform called African Conference on Agricultural Technology. And the first conference will be organized in Nairobi, Kenya, on October 30th to 3 November. We are very grateful of your commitment and your confirmation to participate, and actually grace and welcome other dignitaries to encourage them adopt the change that we need. But I take this opportunity to invite all of you, partners, colleagues who are in this room, to come and join others so that we can chart a new way for Africa to use science and technology so that we can feed ourselves, and from science, create prosperity among the smallholder farmers.
First, I bring you fraternal greetings from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. The Senator Abubakar Kyari would have loved to be here, but yesterday we had a very late meeting looking at the issue of fertilizer supply in the country, and we have some issues to tackle very early this morning. So he's not here, otherwise we'll have actually all been here in honor of a very distinguished Nigerian, a very humble Nigerian. So please, Your Excellency, sir, greetings from Senator Abubakar Kyari, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. My statement here is just a very short one, but to emphasize that we're just barely 1 week in office, and we are looking at what is on ground. But of course, Nigerians will recall that just 2 days ago, specifically on Monday, we had our inaugural Federal Executive Council meeting, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu unveiled the 8-point agenda, for which on top of that agenda is food security. And I believe that tells you exactly the importance of whatever we do within the agricultural sector, and juxtaposing to what we're doing here today, where the former president will be a goodwill ambassador of AATF, who are promoting how to attain food security and poverty alleviation in Africa. And of course, within that 8-point agenda also, we have poverty alleviation. And another very important point is inclusivity, where we believe for us to achieve all of the things we want to do to bring back economic prosperity, peace, and stability in this country, we need everybody to be on deck. And I think we recognize no one person can achieve anything on your own, and so you need all partners, local, sub-regional, international, and everywhere. So I want to assure you that the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and I think I want you to please take note that it used to be Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. But given the very Herculean challenges of food security that we are facing, we are having flooding, which is washing off a lot of farms. We are also having with it the challenges of pests and diseases. Cooler birds are all over. So these are issues that we believe is negatively impacting on our capacity to deliver on our food security promises. But we are putting all hands on deck to tackle all these challenges. And of course, we want to assure you that having a AATF ambassador, knowing that AATF has been in the forefront of promoting technologies to bring about productivity gains in our local farming communities, I think is something that is positive to us. We are very excited about it, and we look forward to very more robust engagement with AATF and all other partners that are supporting Nigeria to attain food security for our citizens. I wish you all the best, We'll continue to pray for you, Your Excellency. We have no doubt in our mind that you are an embodiment of everything it takes to be an ambassador, not just for this, our country alone, but for Africa and the entire human race.
how we wrap it here. The ball is in our court. We need to put our hands together to have a better and sustainable agriculture. I am Hilda Homsen Phantom. Keep watching more of our programs on ARCN TV Abuja, or follow us on our YouTube account, ARCN TV and Radio.